Hello, my name's Ross, and I've been asked to talk to you a little bit about design in general, how I got into the business, and give you some tips as to how you might want to follow your creative career path going forward. So, I'll tell you a little bit about myself to start with. My name's Ross, as I said, and I work as content and social lead at the Met Office. You might think the Met Office is just for the police, but it's not the police at all. It's actually all to do with weather and climate. Um, I work in-house to oversee design, video, and social media and make sure that what we're producing is awesome. Um, so what does that mean on a day-to-day basis? Well, we have over 1.5 million followers on our social media channels, and we use it to communicate the weather. That becomes particularly important in times of severe weather or when there's storms on the way. And what we're having to do then is take very scientific, often quite complicated messages and really tell the story as to how it's going to impact people throughout the UK in order to make sure that they're safe and able to thrive. We're not just UK, so we also do a lot of climate work as well, and support different communities around the world. So we are truly global as an organisation. This is not where I work normally, obviously, for obvious reasons. This is what I call the party lounge. So this is where I'm working from home at the minute, which is quite different to normal. But I've got to admit my desk is still full of random stuff like this. I'm lucky enough to have my own little space. But we work in an open plan office so that actually we can communicate a lot easier. We work quite like a newsroom in many senses. So we've got a press office and our content team, which consists of about 10 or 15 people, works very closely with that newsroom in order to kind of get the latest information out the door as quickly as possible. So I'll tell you a little bit about the team as well. So we have 4 designers in our team, and they can do all sorts of different bits and bobs, from animation through to static design, print design, digital design, including all social media graphics. We have 3 full-time presenters who are the people that front up our presented forecast videos, but also that do all of our work across social media as well. And then we've got a series of video and studio editors. We really do consider ourselves as content producers because we need to be able to be good at a bit of everything, and being able to be good at a little bit of everything is a really important skill for our team, actually, and I believe is a really important skill to have in terms of something when you're going into the industry. So it's great to be able to specialize in logo design, but it really narrows down the opportunities that you'll find to actually get a job that specializes in logo design. If you're able to do bits and pieces of everything, that really does broaden your opportunities. So I will talk a little bit about, I've got some cards here actually that I'm going to come on to later, which are my top tips for being awesome. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about the team, and then I shall tell you about how I got into the industry, just so you get a little bit of a flavour. So the team are absolutely obsessed with social media, and we need to be, because we used to rely on the TV for people to get their forecasts, but we're really aware that that world has changed and that people consume their information in all sorts of different ways now, predominantly on the mobile, and more often than not via social media. So we need to make sure that we're in the places that those people are and that those people are consuming information. So we need to know if something loops on Twitter or if it crops on Instagram, or how long an Instagram story rolls for. We need to know all of those things. So we need to be on social media all the time, looking and learning and living. So the first rule is that it's really important that we are designing for those spaces. How did I get into the industry? Well, I have always followed what I love doing, actually, and it felt like it was the only thing that I could do quite naturally. So I've always loved drawing as a kid. I wanted to be a cartoonist, so I've loved the Beano since I grew up, and felt that I might be a cartoonist one day. That hasn't happened, sadly. But I then went on to study art and design at A levels, and then went on to do new media design at Bournemouth University, which was all around early days of user interaction, animation, interactivity, a bit of graphic design sprinkled in there as well. And then from that, I went to work in-house at a local print agency. And that's really where I honed my skills around design in general. So designing predominantly for print at the time, but it was design in general, but it was the ability to manage multiple projects, to work to a very fast pace with tight deadlines. But most importantly, actually, my customer service skills, because some of it required me to be front of house to be able to actually speak to people face to face. And that is really, really important to be able to do that. So that's me. I then moved to the Met Office actually, and I've been here 10 years, which is scary because that makes me feel super old. It still feels really fresh to me, and my role has changed over that time. So I joined as a new media designer looking at interactive technology. I then did some print work and have helped evolve the team from a team of 2 up to a team of 10 plus now. And we're creating all sorts of creative material across the whole office. So, I mean, you could tell I could probably talk to you for ages about what I do, and you're more than welcome to reach out to me and ask me further questions. So I'm Rossi Mids on Twitter, or you can find me on LinkedIn if you're on there, which you may or may not be. I'd recommend that you are. I'm Ross Middleham. I'm Super Doodle Design on Instagram, where you can see more of this type of stuff. So feel free to reach out and send me a message. So I was asked to give you some top tips. So tips that might stand you in good stead going forward. So first up, do the best you possibly can at everything. Is a kind of no-brainer, but I've always felt that this is really important, actually. And I heard it put really well by an agency once. It was Spencer at Taxi Studio, design agency in Bristol. And he said, even if you're making a cup of tea, I expect you to make that to the best of your ability. Like you would if you were making it for yourself, you would make it in the same way for anyone else. And you would put your heart and soul into making it as good as you possibly can. And I believe you need to do that with absolutely everything that you do. So number 2, this is really important. So it's important to be positive and enthusiastic. So I've talked to loads of different students, not just students, loads of different people, but this really stands out when you are talking to students and even interviewing students. It's certainly not a thing to be ashamed of to be enthusiastic and positive about your work and to be interested. You don't have to know all the answers, but just the fact that you're engaged and interested when we're having conversations is really, really important and really shines through as well. Positivity is very infectious. So actually, people will warm to people that are quite positive. Don't be afraid to speak and talk. And it took me quite a while to learn that, but it's really, really important. So number 3, there are only 5, so don't panic. I won't go on forever. Think about where your designs are going. As I said, we do lots of work with universities, colleges, different agencies, different teams that are in various different industries, and it's really, really important. So you've got to really think where that design is going to end up. So a lot of the time we see amazing designs from students, but they will only look good the size of a house. But when you put them in a place where they will more than likely end up, which is social media on a mobile phone, you can't read anything and they're not sized correctly and things crop or there's too much information to take in the time that you're scrolling. So you need to think really carefully about where stuff is going to end up. And remember that most often than not, it's going to end up on the mobile phone. So make it look as good as you possibly can for that. Experiment and have fun is the next one. So importantly, I would say the time is now for you. Being at university, being at college gives you a real chance to just try stuff. Try something that you never thought that you'd be any good at. Give illustration a go and give that a whirl for your project, or even team up with someone else and you do some, they do something else, bring those ideas together and make stuff happen. So making stuff happen is the key to it. And your time to experiment is absolutely now. Doesn't mean that the fun stops when you get to work. You can still bring that fun, but you're really learning those skills at university and college. And then the last one is don't be a jerk. So basically, don't be an idiot. When you're interviewed, you want to come across as friendly and engaging and interesting. Never be a jerk. Not just at work, in general at all. Nobody wants to surround themselves by an idiot or work with a fool. So remain positive and remain interesting and be interested in the person and show enthusiasm for design as a whole. That's probably it for the seconds. They're my top 5 tips. Like I say, if you've got any questions or want to speak to me more, or if you're feeling that you want to reach out because you're feeling maybe a bit lonely or need some advice in these kind of weird times that we're in, then just let me know and I'm sure we can chat, and the party lounge is always open. Cool. Thank you. Bye.